I'm going to talk a little bit about creation and about hope. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, and now the earth was formless and empty, and darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. I think here in this neck of the woods, we would call that January. And then, in his greatness, God said, "Let there be light." And day and night and sky and land and sea appeared. And then he said, "Let the land produce vegetation, and let there be light in the expanse of the sky, the sun, the moon, and the stars. Water creatures, birds in the sky, land creatures, and then man in his own image, creating them male and female." There is something very optimistic about these words of creation. They are full of promise, visions of a future, and hope. Like many of you, I've been excited to get outside to get my plants established and growing in their window boxes, in their pots, and in their little gardens in the ground. These past few days have been a heaven on earth to get that done. The sun shining warmly as I'm out on the patio digging in the dirt. In the course of 1 week, I've seen my hostas and ferns grow 6 inches. My lilacs have bloomed, my peonies are in the process of blooming, my bleeding hearts are hanging heavy in my garden up by the woods. Irises dot the edges of the garden with bits of color. I have a big chunk of my dad's roses that he gave to my mom in 1940. They had spread into a 20-foot row along the garage in their home where they lived for 65 years. When they both passed away, my siblings and I were able to take a chunk of those roses and bring them to our own homes. I now have a 3-foot row of beautifully established pink roses along my front walkway. I've also been trying to establish a wildflower garden up in my backyard. Milkweed, coneflowers, tickseed, monarda, mostly weeds. Just a few pops of color, though, keep me hopeful. It's encouraging. I keep planting wildflower seeds and hoping that one of these days they'll take off. Spring and early summer are all about creation, and creation is singing and blooming all around us, bursting forth with a promise of new life. And we read in Genesis of all God's gifts, and that he also said, "Let the birds fly above the earth across the vault of the sky." And to think that he even gave them each beautiful songs to sing for us to hear. Can't you just feel your heart get lighter? The sun that we know that will come up every morning is warmer. Our neighbors come out of hibernation to meet and greet each other across the lawns again. We're a far cry from those long, cold, dreary days of winter, and we are once again filled with promise and with hope. We have worldly hopes. We hope to and attempt to influence our future. We work hard to prepare for our future. We till the soil, we plant the seeds, we do what we can for a good harvest. We hope that a good education will help us to achieve more out of life. We hope that by living a good life, we'll get our way into heaven. Or maybe we just simply hope that our flowers will thrive and bloom and be beautiful this summer. Unlike worldly hope, biblical hope is not based on our effort or desires, but rather it's something received. It's another gift from God. This hope is a confidence that something will come to pass, because God has promised it. It will come to pass. This hope is an integral part of our faith. We've heard it said, "Work like it depends on you and pray like it depends on God." That's pretty sound advice, but within that is the unspoken hope for a good outcome. In Proverbs 16, verse 9, it says, "In his heart a man plans his course, but the Lord determines his steps." Yes, this is good to keep in mind as well. And then in Romans 15, verse 13, it says, "May the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace in believing, so that by the power of the Holy Spirit you may abound in hope. I think all of three of these things are good life guides. Don't be lazy. Take it to God in prayer. Know that God has got this. And in hope, be filled with joy and peace by the indwelling of the Holy Spirit. Yes, all this and more are gifts from God. But there's another gift here. I have hope. I have hope and look forward to some beautiful wildflower blooms up in my upper garden this summer. Always hopeful. Find joy and peace in your summer days and have a good evening.